Alright, so back here on the 1978 Toyota pickup, I've already done the passenger side of the front of the vehicle and working here on the driver's side. So, yeah, so all the core support piece here all rotted out, this back piece, and then the front piece as well, all rotted. And inside, it's hard to, probably impossible to see it, the glare of the lights, but this piece here, had to get replaced as well. And then the bracket that holds the cab to the car also replaced and all welded in. What I'm working on now is just getting this bottom plate here in place. And there's some marks on here, and what I'd done was make this little template. And so what I did is I cut out this piece here first, and then now I know that's not going to move, and I capped it off on the top. And then now I make this template, and then it's got a hole under it, and that way I know where the big bracket that holds the cab mounting goes. So this should be definitely close enough. The wiggle room on the frame is pretty big. Like, the hole is like an inch wide, and so there's a lot of slop in there, and then there'll be some slop available in this as well. So not too worried about it. I wanted to make sure I was close, but with all the work I gotta do in here, I know it's not going to be perfect. And so there will be a little bit of play that'll be allowed on this piece. It's a bit bigger than the previous one. The previous one was just 2 inches wide. This is 3, so I got more room everywhere. And then I do have it lined up pretty good, so I'm not worried about it. This bottom cap that I'm working on, it didn't previously overlap, so it just covered up the hole that's in the core support, and it did not overlap on the bracket. And so I am going to tie those two things in. So I made the weird looking piece here that caps this off, but it's also going to overlap the bracket here, so all that is all tied in together as though it's one big piece. And so there's kind of a weird angle up in here. The width sort of expands out, and then it has like a knot, like a square piece on the back for where the bracket's at. Sort of a weird piece. I just use paper just like I did on the other one. Throw a magnet on there, trace it out, get it as close as you can, and then grinder and other stuff to tighten it up. So for these bends, I'm just sort of doing them incrementally. So this flat piece, easy here, just get a couple of tacks on that. This is flat, a couple of tacks here, and then I did use the bender to get this curve in it. And so now I'll get a couple of more tacks in that, and then I got to bend this flat here. I'll get all this flat and flush up in here, just hammer, clamps, whatever I need to use in order to get this flush, and then I'll work on the back side and then weld it around that bracket as well. So that's a good thing about working with metal. It's typically close enough is good enough. And so yep, just see what we can do. So yeah, it's pretty easy to get that through there. Even though it's 18 gauge, the fender's not too bad. I don't know how the lighting's going to work here. Probably useless. We're running into the sun with the camera, but whatever. Alright, so, well, it's probably impossible to see since looking into the sun, but yeah, so just running weld all along that edge. Had to bend up the piece there, got the corners done. Had to do a little bit of a relief cut inside of there, so I'll have to weld up that little cut that I just made, and then when I gotta get over here and then weld up all along there and all along that, and then probably get the grinding, which is boring and annoying, but gotta be done. So cool. See you on the next one. Thanks.